I flew out of my truck and pounded on his door. No answer, and his car wasn't there. Okay, no luck here, but someone had to know if he was okay. After a few wrong turns, I found his friend George's frat house, where Danny had taken me the previous weekend. I parked out front and pushed my way through the milling college kids. A guy stopped me on my way to George's room.
"Who are you?"
I smiled up at him. "I'm Catherine. I was looking for George. I was here last week. He, helped me with my license." George was a counterfeiter in addition to being a college student. Last Saturday, he'd made me a license showing I was 21. Danny already had one. That was the point, so I could go to the places Danny went to.
"Wait here. I'll see if George is still around."
A few minutes later, George came down, looking confused and slightly irritable.
"Kathy, what are you doing here? You didn't lose your ID already, did you?"
"George?" My voice cracked a bit from strain. "Have you seen Danny? I haven't been able to get a hold of him all week. Is he all right?" Something I couldn't name passed over his face.
"Yes, Danny's fine. In fact, I think he's at Galaxy, the club the two of you went to last week. You remember where it is?"
We never made it last weekend." I knew my face was red, but I didn't let it stop me. "Can you give me directions?" Reluctance was written all over him, but I persisted. When I had the directions, I thanked him and left, so excited to know Danny was okay that I forgot to wonder why he hadn't called me. Galaxy turned out to be huge. Their doors were open, the sounds of music spilling into the parking lot. I walked up to the entrance hesitantly, but with determination, not about to let a thing like nerves stop me. At the door, the bouncer gave a hard look at my fake driver's license, holding it under his light and comparing it to my face. I tried to look blasé and smiled as if I didn't have a care in the world. All I needed was to go to jail for possession of false identification, but he finally waved me inside. The music was pounding, and it seemed like hundreds of gyrating bodies were all around me. My plain white t-shirt turned hues of neon in the fluorescent glare of the lights. Pushing through the dancers was like walking through deep water. When I found my way to the nearest bar, I scanned the people around it. No Danny yet.
"Buy you a drink?"
a voice behind me asked. I whirled, smiling, but it wasn't Danny. An unknown guy in a red shirt grinned at me. "No thanks," I said, and turned back to the crowd. From my vantage point, I noticed there were several bars in the club. Wading once more through the living barricades, I reached the other side in what seemed like an hour. My head had started to pound along with the music, and my eyes were sore from the flashes of light scoring the room. The second and third bars were no more helpful. Despair began to set in that George had been wrong, and Danny wasn't here after all. I leaned against the wall, glancing at the second floor of the club. People were gathered by a banister that overlooked the main floor. As I watched, a familiar, sandy-colored head came into view. "Danny!" I yelled, but to no avail, as he wouldn't have heard a bullhorn in this noise. With relief, I pushed my way to the stairs and sprinted up them toward Danny. The broad smile of greeting I wore dropped from my face when I saw him more clearly. A blonde girl was in front of him, her hands on his chest. She was grinning as he leaned down to kiss her. I stared, shocked, as Danny put his arms around the girl. After a long minute, he broke the kiss and finally noticed me. "Oh, shit," he muttered. I heard him. I shouldn't have, with all the background noise, but my hearing wasn't normal. Neither was my eyesight, and I absorbed every emotion on his face as he looked from her to me.
"Catherine, what are you doing here?"
Danny stepped back from the pretty blonde, who gave me a belittling glance as she took in my jeans, sneakers, and t-shirt. "Is this the girl you were telling me about, Danny? The one you just broke up with?" "What?" It was a gasp of outrage, not a question. My hands balled into fists, and I took several